Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. Welcome to my Fab Life channel. This is a one-stop hub for all things fashion, hair, health and beauty. Today's video is a skincare video, and if you generally like all things skincare or beauty related, or even if you enjoy all things fashion, then do check out my Instagram as well, which is simply The Fab Life. I have actually just started a new IGTV series called The Battle of, where I compare two different products, usually skincare related, and just have a little chit chat about what I think about them. Do they work? Do they not work? Are they worth the price tag? And so on. And let's get into today's video, which is all about my favorite The Ordinary products. Firstly, I hope I'm not being totally washed out. I'm not sure it was the best idea to wear white. Hopefully it's not too distracting. Hopefully you can see me. Can you see me? Yes, I think you can. So I do like to incorporate this with other products from other brands. I just want to make that clear. But obviously today we're going to be talking about just The Ordinary products. So let's get started. I haven't tried all their products, but I have tried quite a few. So these are the 7 or 8 products that I highly recommend, and I'm going to talk about them in order of, I guess, how I would use them. So we want to start from water-based products and start to finish towards oil-based or anhydrous products. So the first thing we're going to start off with are the direct acids. Direct acids are a way of basically giving your skin a chemical cleanse rather than face scrub. That's more of a physical cleanse, a physical abrasion on your skin, whereas the direct acids are more a chemical. So often when you use these sort of products, you will feel some sort of tingling. The two that I tend to use a lot, one I use quite regularly, is the Ordinary Glycolic Acid. This is the 7% toning solution. So your glycolic acid is an example of an AHA, and other ones would be things like lactic acid. Generally, they are great for uneven tone, for dullness in your skin. This is recommended to use once or twice a week to start with, and then you can build it up, preferably in the evenings, because it does make you more susceptible or more prone to the UV rays, or more sensitive, should we say, to the UV rays. So after I've done my double cleanse with a normal foam based oil based and then foam based cleanser, then I'll go in with something like this on a cotton pad. And then once a week, although sometimes I don't even do that often, I might do it once every 2 weeks, but it's recommended once a week, is a peeling solution. This is the 30% AHA and 2% BHA peeling solution. So this has got a mixture of the alpha and the beta hydroxy acids, and I'll show you what that's like. It's a really intense red color. It's sort of like a blood red. This one you put on after cleansing your skin, but you need to have dry skin, not wet skin, and you place it on for a maximum of 10 minutes and then you wash it off with lukewarm water. It's recommended not to leave it on for more than 10 minutes. Now, after you've cleansed your skin with your oil-based cleansers and then your foam cleansers and then your chemical cleansers, firstly we want to hydrate our skin. So for me, I have dry skin, so to hydrate I like to use the Ordinary's hyaluronic acid, and then I apply this just all over the face and all over the neck, and it's just an injection of moisture. It's got hydrophilic properties, so it loves to draw moisture, so it's going to really attract moisture to your skin, which naturally makes it feel plumper, feels less dry. Definitely one I would say to keep using regularly to really start to see those benefits. Personally, I like to just drip it, 1 drop on each cheek and then 1 drop in the center, and then I rub it all over my face, and then you just leave it to just dry off a little bit before you move on to your next step. Now your next step should be, this is the time to add in any of your water-based products. So this is the niacinamide 10% with zinc 1%. It's a high strength vitamin and mineral blemish formula. So it's great for oily prone and blemish prone skin. Now I don't have oily prone skin, but I am definitely prone to lots of blemishes, and once the spot is or the blemish is gone, I'll be left with a few dark spots. So zinc is good for reducing the darkness of some of those spots. You can use them just targeted in certain areas where you have the spots, or you can just put it all over your face, which is usually what I do, is put it all over my face. But generally, if you have oily skin and you produce a lot of sebum, then niacinamide is going to be great for trying to regulate the sebum that you produce and stop your skin from being too oily and therefore producing lots of spots. Perhaps once this is finished, I will just get the zinc on its own because that's really all I need for the dark spots. There are some other alternatives. So if you didn't want to use this, or you felt like your skin was really not that oily, rather than getting this niacinamide and zinc, you could get, like we said, just zinc on its own, or you could try something like the Ordinary's alpha arbutin, which again is good for reducing dark spots. The other alternative, of course, is their caffeine. I think it's just called their caffeine solution, and that's great for dark circles. So again, if you get a lot of dark circles under your eyes, this would be the time to use those products: alpha arbutin, the caffeine, niacinamide. You want to use them after you've hydrated with the hyaluronic acid, but before we start to move on to all the other oils and creams, because everything else I'm going to talk about now, it will be more oil based. So now, after our water based product, we're going to move on to our oil based product. So we're on to step 4, I think, which would be all the anhydrous solutions. So these are all the products that don't really like water. They're going to be oil based and cream based, which is why we want to use them after we used our water based products. Now this is the step where you want to really focus on the things that you want to target in your skin. If it is fine lines and wrinkles, this is where you want to start to use targeted products like retinol. If your problem is more dull skin, that's not very bright and not very even, this is where you want to focus on the targeted products like vitamin C. After we've done our sort of generic cleansing and hydrating, those are the main things that I like to use, is retinol for fine lines and vitamin C for a brighter skin. So this is the retinol that I use. It's 0.5%. They do recommend you start lower and then build up, so I would never recommend you go straight to something like 1%. So if you are worried more about fine lines and signs of aging, then you do want to be using retinol. I'm in my 30s. If you're in your 40s or your 50s, you might even be moving on to some of the stronger ones. So your retinoids are going to be super strong versions of retinol, which are actually more like prescription based anti-aging formula that you can get from a dermatologist. And the idea about retinols and retinoids is they are trying to increase the collagen produced in your skin, which is then going to give you that plumper, more youthful appearance and make the fine lines a little less visible. Now these you definitely have to use as part of your nighttime skincare routine. It's going to make you more sensitive, if you like, to UV rays. My other skin concern is definitely uneven tone and a dull skin. The products we want to target with that are vitamin C. Now I actually have 2 types. I have the oil based, which is ascorbic acid with alpha arbutin, or there is just a vitamin C 23% in a suspension. I'll start off with this because that's actually what I started using first. This is more of a cream base, but it's got tiny little particles, so when you do rub that into your skin, it does feel quite grainy. Boy, can you feel that you were rubbing that in. But I would recommend maybe not starting every evening, maybe do it twice a week or every other night. Now after a while I swapped to just the oil base. So this is 8% ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is a purer form, if you like, of vitamin C, so even though it only says 8%, it's definitely stronger. Now this does come with alpha arbutin. If you remember, I talked about alpha arbutin in step 3 as something that you can use to reduce your dark spots, and that's why I prefer this. Vitamin C and retinol cannot be used together. So if you have dry skin with dark spots and you have wrinkles, you're going to have to choose which one you use in the evenings, or do what I do, which is buy both but don't use them both at the same time. Ascorbic acid one evening, retinol the next evening, and you can just keep alternating. Now just to complicate matters a little bit more, you can't use all 3 together, so you really do have to alternate, which is often what I do. Use one night, use one another night, and use one the other night, and you keep alternating. But retinol I actually don't use that often, so usually most times I end up alternating between the glycolic acid and the ascorbic acid, and then every so often, one evening if I fancy it, or if I'm having a week off of these, I'll just be using the retinol on its own to target those fine lines. I hope that all makes sense. Again, if you are confused, I will leave the link directly from the Ordinary's website, where they clearly state which products do not mix with other products. It also helped me to devise my skincare routine, which ones I would go for in the mornings and which ones I would go for in the evenings, that way separating the products that couldn't be mixed together. Now after step 4 of using targeted products like vitamin C or retinol, I usually, because they're very oil based, I tend to leave them in for a few hours, and that's why I like to do my evening skincare routine fairly early in the evening, like 6 o'clock in the evening, maybe even 5:30 when I've taken off my makeup for the day. I can have a good 4 hours just at home downstairs in the evening, movie nights, just playing with my daughter, putting her to sleep, whatever it might be. And then come 10 p.m. I will then add my night cream for the night. But I don't want to add creams too soon after adding the oils. You really want these oils to have a chance to do the job of targeting your skincare concerns. So that's something to note, not to do your evening skincare routine so far late in the night, except of course you have oily skin and you don't plan to moisturize. But personally, I do need to moisturize, which is why I like to separate quite a few hours between adding my oils and then adding my moisturizer right at the end. I hope that makes sense. So those are my 7 products from The Ordinary that I use and that I love and that I would recommend. I'll have them all linked down below, but that is the general order of the 4 steps of The Ordinary that I use. So my darlings, I'm going to say thank you so much for watching today's video. I know it's a bit different from my usual fashion videos, but I have had a few questions about my skincare routine. Like I said, let me know if you want me to do an actual skincare routine. I can do a morning and an evening skincare routine, but hopefully this helps give you a guide of what's ordinary products I like to use and which ones perhaps you could start off with and which ones I would recommend. Thank you so much for watching, my darlings, and I will speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.